Good evening. Hello. How's everyone doing today? This is Sandy from Ledoux Designs. And we are going to play with some products from several different companies. So you're going to be able to mix and match. It's always great to use the stuff that you have. So for tonight, we're going to actually use the Get Wrecked stamp set by the Sassy Club. Look, it has all these characters that look like from Wreck-It Ralph. There's Ralph. There's King Candy. And there's Vanelope von Schweetz in her race car from Sugar Rush. That's the name of the video game that she's in the movie. And then we're going to use the Sentiment Happy Birthday from the Waffle Flower stamp set. This is a stamp set and matching die set. So we're going to use that. And then we're going to use this drippy frame die from Whimsy Stamps. And we're going to use this paper from Pink and Main. I love this paper. I've used it on a couple of projects, but it's just gorgeous. I'll give you a little sneak peek of some of it in here. It's all different colors. Some are vibrant, some are pastel. It's just a really pretty paper. Look at that. Hey, Cheryl. I'm doing great tonight. I'm excited about our little task, our little card tonight. So anyway, yes, so the paper is from Pink and Main. So those are the products we're going to use tonight. And I jump started by stamping and fussy cutting out Vanelope before the live, so you guys would not have to watch me fussy cut her. And then we're just going to get busy coloring her because she's just so stinking cute. Yeah, I love that paper. I really love that paper. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit because there is a lot to do because we're going to make her racing car look like candy. So I kind of want you to like take a good look at this. The detail is not in there. Yet we are going to do her car and make it look like candy. So I'm kind of excited about it. It'll show a few little techniques that maybe you might not have seen before, or maybe you have and you'd like to see again. I don't know, but it is going to be candy related. So I am excited about that. And I just realized I did not pull out any colors for her hair. So I'm going to grab them real quick. We're going to mix them up, do them a little bit different than we did the other night because I want her hair to be darker black than what we did the other night. So this will get us there. So we're going to go ahead and get started on the skin. And I chose RV95, E000, E11, E01, E00, and R11 for her cheeks, and RV34 for her mouth and nose. So these are the colors that we are going to use for skin. And yep, that's all you can see. Just her face and her ears. So it won't take us long. We'll just get that rolling right now. So we have E000. Hey, Sandra. This is exciting. I think you're going to like how she turns out because we're going to make her car look like candy. And it's going to be her candy mobile here for Candy Rush, Sugar Rush. The name of the video game from the movie. So I just found a picture of it on the internet and watching Caitlin of Pink and Main color on YouTube right now. And now you and wow, I love your nails. Thank you, Christina. Yes. And Oh, Sandra won the die. I posted it in the group, but she won the die from the other night. Yep. Everybody was excited about that. I was excited I could give it away. It was super fun. Don't worry, I still have prizes, that stamp sets from me that haven't been given away yet. So we will be doing another one in the near future. And thank you on the nails. It's one of my favorite colors. I just love purple, so she buys all the purple colors for my nails. All right. She looks a little splotchy because part of her is dry and part of her is wet, but don't worry, she'll be fine, I promise. So RV95 is what we're going to do with our shadow color. And remember last night, it kind of washed out and we ended up having to put a little bit of the dark back in. So if that happens, we may do that again tonight. And if you missed it on Tuesday night, we'll go over what I'm doing as I'm doing it so you won't feel lost, just in case you weren't watching. And if you were, it's just a refresher. Okay, I'm going to put this RV95 inside her mouth. And then a little bit under her nose because I want to keep her nose and her mouth pink. Oh, looky girl, I would have loved that die, but maybe next time. Well, it may still come back again. You never know. But right now, dies are hard to get, so I'm not sure how that's all going to play out, but we'll see. We'll just keep hoping for the best. And then E11 is the one that we're going to use to expand on for a little bit more of our shadow area. I sound like I don't know what I'm doing. A bit frazzled tonight, I guess. I mean, I was ready for the live before it was time. So I was just kind of hanging out, waiting for it to start. But for some reason, I think I just want to chat with you guys instead of working. And so I'm getting frazzled with my chatting. Okay, so there we go. We have it started. Hi, Jana. Yay, I'm happy to see you guys popping in tonight. Thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate it. This is going to be really fun. You guys might want to wait and stick around to see this one because I want you to notate, like, there's not a lot of detail inside of each one of the little designs that are on here for candy, but we are going to be adding a lot of detail to this car, so it might be fun to stick around. Oh, thank you, Gianna. I'm glad you like the logo. Could you do digital on that die or no? Just a question. Yeah, I've been thinking about that. It's possible. I have some potential ideas, but I haven't run them by Dale completely yet, but I do have a couple of ideas. So hold tight, Cheryl. I have you in mind. I'm not going to forget that your stuff has to go to Canada. So don't worry. I have you covered on some of it. I kept you in mind. Hey, Mama. This one is going to be fun tonight. I'm really excited about doing this one. And then if Beth Rice pops in tonight, then I'll let her know what we're going to do. We're going to do some curly hair next time. LOL. Are you following me? Hi, Christina and Jana. Yeah, I think you guys both follow a lot of other groups too. So she was probably on the other live with you too. Is that live over? I do mine every Tuesday and Thursday. I didn't know the other one was live, but it's funny that I decided to be talking about Pink and May when you came on. But yeah, I use a lot of different people's products for right now. It's kind of fun. I like it. It lets me use what I have in my stash. It lets me help promote them. It's just a plus all the way around. And even when we dive deeper into Ledoux Designs, we will still do other people's stuff. So we will still be doing Sassy Club, and we will still be doing, you know, because we'll be releasing them slowly. One image at a time, or 2 or 3 images at a time, but not a huge release. So we won't want to color the same thing for a month. So we got to use other people's stuff too.
Then we value creativity. We want to promote creativity in the community.
There you go. Did you guys hear Dale? It says, nope, she's still live. I'm watching both. Oh, you go, Christina. Going back and forth. Oh, you guys are so nice. Thank you for coming in, even though I know you were already watching another one. That's so nice of you guys. I really appreciate that. So we're blending out now with the E00, the last. Did that? You can't wait for my stuff. Jana said, hey, Dale. Dale can come say it again a little closer so you guys can hear. But the reasons why we're going to continue using other products from other companies, even when we have product in our shop. Look at her skin, looks so good.
We value the creativity and artistry that can be taught and given back. And I think that's an important platform to share information. So that's why we're going to still do other stamp companies, because we want to promote overall creativity in the community.
See, he just knew how to say it really good. Okay, so I'm going to tell you there's one thing on this on this whole image right here that I'm going to modify just a teeny bit. Yes, creativity inspired. That is correct. So I'm going to make a little modification here. And I need to do it now before we get started on the body and stuff. But inside here, I mean, I think it's all supposed to be like her shoulders and stuff, but it's kind of hard to see and tell. So I'm going to add just a little bit of a line right here. And I'm doing it with the lightest color so that when I go over it with whatever color I'm going to be coloring, you'll be able to see it. But I don't want to miss it and do it wrong. So I'm just going to put this in there for right now so that we have a guide for that. And that's just because that's the way I see it, like visually for me. I felt like I needed to see her shoulders, but you don't necessarily have to. But I just felt like it would be helpful that way. Hey, Teresa. Yay. Oh, look at all my friends popping in tonight. I am so happy. Okay. So we're going to move on to, we're going to go ahead and start doing the vehicle just in case I start losing some of y'all as we go along. So we're going to go ahead and start with her vehicle. And I'm going to start from the back and work my way forward. So on her, on the back of the vehicle, I want it to be candy under with the chocolate coating. So we're going to go ahead and work on the chocolate coating right now. So we're going to make this part like a filling of strawberry, and then this is going to be like a strawberry cake. So we're going to go ahead and put a bit of chocolate icing over top of that. So I'm going to talk a lot about food tonight, so be ready. A lot about candy. Lots and lots of candy thoughts tonight. So I apologize ahead of time if that makes you guys hungry for junk food. But it is what it is. So I'm putting my dark shadow color in there first, where I want the deepest, darkest chocolate to be. And definitely on the bottoms of the little drips, so it shows that it's pooling in that area. And then we're going to move to E27, which is just a little bit lighter than the other color that we had. We're going to put a little bit more of that in there. We also want to leave some space for the really light colors. So that's why I'm leaving a little bit of white spaces in these different areas so that we have some lighter colors, different dimension of color in this image. And I love the chocolate. I don't really eat chocolate that much though. It tends to mess with my stomach, so. And I'm not intolerant or anything. It just, I don't know. Sometimes it just doesn't like me. So, yeah. Which is why I tend to stick with candies that are more like Nerds and gummy bears and the chewy gummy stuff, because it doesn't make my stomach hurt. I don't know why I'm struggling with the markers caps, but they're just going to lay down for now. So now I'm just going to fill in that little bit and kind of smooth that out because I don't want to leave those lines in there. And then I'm going to add just a tad bit where those light colors are. We're going to do the same thing on this side. It'll be smooth chocolate. When we add the white gel pen, it's going to look really, really cool. So that's it for chocolate tonight. This girl's going to have way more strawberry-ish color going on. So we want to go ahead and start working on the back part of the car. So I'm going to use RV66, this one, 34. I have to find them. They're all over my desk. 34 and RV32. So we're going to use these three on this area back here. So for the filling area, I want that to be lighter than the waffle, whatever you want to call that, the wafers, the word I'm looking for. So I'm going to put the shadow right up underneath the chocolate on each side. And then I'm going to use the RV32 on the underside. Basically because the chocolate's covering it, so the darker part would be in the shadow of the chocolate. So we want dark and light. We want to be able to see the variation of both. So while I'm smoothing it out, I'm not completely blending it together. I'm still leaving a little bit of the light and a little bit of the dark. Hey, Beth, I was waiting for you to pop in. See how there's a darker area and then a lighter area, and that shows the shadow and the lighter part of the filling. So, Beth, I wanted to know, and you don't have to answer right now. You can text me, or you can list it on here if you want. But I was looking for curly hair to color, because you had asked for a curly hair girl, and I don't have one. I can't seem to find one with really good curly hair. I might have a digital. I'd have to look through those. I haven't had a chance to look through those yet, but I know you wanted curly hair. So if you have one that you would like to see colored, if you can tell me what, if I have it, I could do it or I could get it. So I just want to leave that open since you wanted to see curly hair colored. There we go. So I put the shadow up underneath the filling so it looks like the filling's leaking over onto the little wafer area. And then we're going to take the medium color and we're going to touch just a little bit on that dark and then come along the bottom. So a little bit at the top just to give the transition, and then right along the bottom. The last color will mend all of that together. Now this is going to have a lot of these three colors in it, these pink colors. So yeah, so hang in there. We're going to use these colors a lot. So I'm kind of pushing back into that darker color so I can keep a little bit of light color in here. And I'm okay if it's not smooth because they aren't always smooth. So giving it a little bit of variation makes it awesome. Okay, let me look and see if I have one that I can reference. Thank you for being willing to show us. Oh, of course. Absolutely. I always ask if you guys want to see something, but then I couldn't find one. So I was like, dang it. I need to get that fixed. So this little twisty, like licorice in her hair, or that's what I'm going to call it, is going to be the same color. So I'm going to go in with the RV66 to put some of that depth in there. So mostly I'm going to put the shadow like where her hair meets this ribbon, and then along the bottom of this ribbon, or licorice or candy or whatever you want to call it. It's up to you. You can call it what you want. I'm also going to put just one line down, a few of these ones in the center so they stand out, and along the edge of the one that's at the end of the licorice thingamajiggy. You like all those official terms, thingamajiggy? Okay, RV34. I think we may use another one of those candy pieces like we used the other night for her hair, because I think that just turned out so adorable. So I want to do that again. So there we go. We have that color in there. Now I'm going to go and fill in just a little bit from the sides where I had put that darkest shadow color. A little bit more in there just to get that to stay a little bit darker. I'm going to turn this light just a little bit more away from me. So hopefully you guys can see that a little better. Is that better? I hope it is. And we can zoom in just a little bit more too, because there's a lot of detail in this little girl. RV32. So I'm going to just kind of touch that color in there. I don't really want to blend them. I just want to add that light highlight in there, just so we can have a little bit of variation in that little top. What you coloring? Yeah, that helped. I'm coloring Vanelope von Schweetz. And for those who don't know who she is, this is her. She is from Wreck-It Ralph. This is what she looks like. So we're going to kind of make them look alike. And she's in her candy car. So we're going to color her car like candy. So get ready, because there's going to be a lot of it going on. Okay, so next I'm going to do, I think we're going to work on the wheels and come forward. So let's work on the wheels, because they're pretty cool and a little bit challenging. So for this wheel in the back, we're going to make this one out of these colors, but we're going to add one more color. I'm going to add E07 if I can find it. I know, yeah, E07. So we're going to add E07, and then we're also going to add, I know this sounds crazy, but we're also going to use Y28. Say that 3 times fast after a drink in a hotel room. Okay, you can challenge me. We will have one of those nights coming up with craft roulette, so we're good. All right, so I'm going to put a little bit of this RV66, but not very much, just a teeny bit along the back of this wheel. And this is going to be the only wheel that's going to be pink. The other wheels are going to be more of a yellow, orange, red color. This coloring is making me crave dessert. I thought it might. I should have put a pre-warning on that, huh? Okay, E07. And we're going to use E07 for more of our shadow area. So we're going to go along the back of the wheels. I know it's going to be all about food tonight, all about candy. So it's going to make me hungry too. And I think we only have moon pies at the house that are anything like sweets. All right, so we just put a little bit in there. We're just building a bit of depth. We need depth on those tires. Otherwise, they're not going to look like real tires. So they're kind of more like crackers, if you will, or wafers. is what I think we're going for when they were making this in the movie. So I left a little bit of highlight. You have that yummy ice cream place right around the corner. Yeah, we do. But I don't think they're going to be there much longer. They don't get a lot of business. So for the Y28, we're going to fill that in before we do the last step. So you're going to have to raid your son's candy stash. Oh, Sour Patch Kids. Yum. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to make lines on these wheels. We want these to cut, you know how it's ridged, like crackers or whatever have those little ridges on them? So that's what this is going to look like. Like, that will give it a little bit of a look like it's more real. And you can't really see that on camera as well as you can see that here. So I think I'm going to go back in with the E07 and do that one more time so you guys can really see that. So I'm just going to add one tiny stripe in the middle of that Y28. So you'll be able to see it a little better on camera. So there you go. So that's going to really help make that look a little bit more. I thought they were like macaroons. They could be, but in the movie, they're a little, or at least on pictures and stuff, they're a little more like crackers with these little stripes on them. So I don't want to blend those stripes out. I want to leave them, but I want to add this highlight color. So I'm just kind of tapping it in there a little bit. And then that way it gives us a more wheel look. All right, so now we're going to switch to the other colors for the wheels. So I'm going to leave the Y28 out, and I'm going to leave the E07, and then we're going to switch to making them a bit more orange, if you will. So we're going to use YR18, YR23, and then we're going to use Y35, so a little bit more yellow. And then we're going to use YG45 just for a little bit. And YG15. So we're going to use these colors. Now, I know this sounds really crazy. Look at that. This is what we're going to make those tires out of. It sounds crazy, but wait till you see it. It's really cool. So here we go. We're going to start our first step with putting a little bit of this darkest green color in here. So basically we just want something like kind of underpainted, if you will. So just a little bit in one area here and then a little bit like down here. So I'm just randomly putting it in. It doesn't have to be any specific place. You can put it wherever you want. But it will just add that look of this is driving around and the wheels are getting dirty is kind of what it's going to give the appearance of. So I'm going to put just a little bit back here like that. So this is kind of an underpaint, if you will. So what that means is it's just going to be it's underneath the other colors so that you can see all the colors in this. So we're going to do the same thing with YR18. We're just going to start filling in a little bit of that in a couple of different spots. So this is not, right now, not any kind of blending, just spotting in this color wherever we want it to be. And it doesn't have to be consistent anywhere. You can choose wherever you want. Just don't make it even, you know, leave it a bit. Don't make it a solid line. Just leave like some brush strokes going on the front and the back. Just to kind of make it look a little better. It'll blend together just nicely, you'll see. So you're just putting it in there anywhere you want, wherever you want. Notice I didn't put any in this middle piece right here. I'm going to make that tire look just a little bit different than the two in the front since the other one on the other side is pink. But look at how cute she's looking already. It's already coming together nicely. Okay, so we used green. I'm going to try to keep these together. We used the YG45 and the YR18. And then we're going to switch to, now we're going to move to our YR23. And we're going to start building some more of that in there. So now we're moving to yellow. So we want to kind of start putting a bit of this in here and sort of blending through some of the other colors. See how we smoothed out that transition there? We're going to do that a little bit with some of these oranges. I'm not going to mess with the green just yet. I'm just starting to work these out a bit. A little bit of that orange move into yellow. It's already blending very nicely, so I feel confident in the colors that I chose. And if it doesn't, you know, well, we'll just keep going until it makes sense. All right, and there we go. You always learn so much from me. Oh, I'm so glad. I love hearing that. Okay, so next we're going to put in our lines. So our lines, just like we did on this one, we're going to put those on each one of these wheels. So I'm going to do it just a little bit thicker this time so that it's a lighter color, so you should be able to see it. And when we go over it with the lightest colors, then it'll really stand out. And I kind of like them in between where the other ones are, so you can, that doesn't look like one big wheel. It looks like they're separate pieces that they stack together. So still not dark on camera. So we'll probably go in with the darker color again as well, just like we did on the other one. But first we're going to build all of these out. I'm going to turn it upside down so I can do it just a little bit easier. And hopefully you can see. And then in between the other stripes. So in between each one of these stripes, we're adding one to this little area right here. And then we got to do the back one. So a little bit here, here, and there. And then the in-betweens. And same here. And it's already starting to look really good. It doesn't show up on the camera very well, I can tell. It's always after sleep meds, and I don't remember. Oh no, Christina. Moe's digital pencil. See, you can see the tires like up close, like when I block the light. Maybe I should trim this light just a little bit and you'll be able to see it better. But I think we're going to add just a tad bit of the E07 to deepen those up a little bit. Let me write that down real quick because I know I won't remember that. Moe's digital pencil. So digital images, I'm guessing that's great because then I can get it right away. You love Moe's artwork? Okay, great. Well, see, let's do that. I'm thinking that next Tuesday we'll be doing curly hair, so you guys make sure you have it on your calendar to come back on Tuesday at 8 o'clock. And we'll do curly hair. But don't fret if you can't make it or you miss or you forget. You can always watch the replay on YouTube. I've started pausing when it gets posted, so now it doesn't get posted immediately after the live. I set it to schedule for super early in the morning. It's just something that I learned, a way for it to get seen by more people if you schedule it. So it will be out there by the next day, and I'm pretty sure our lives are so late at night that you guys probably aren't out there looking at them immediately after I post them, so I figured that would be okay. So there we go. We can see those wheels just a little bit better. If you get one from Mo, can you let us know so we can color together with you? Yes, I certainly can. You love Moe's burritos. That's funny, Christina. That's M-O-E. Yes, it is. But yes, we can definitely look at that. So I have two more colors. I have Y35. This one's a little bit darker. So I'm going to use this one to go over the green. I want to make that green a little more subtle. And then over my orange and yellow areas. But I'm still going to leave that very light, like that white area right there for my last color. But I want to soften that green up quite a bit. So there we go. I like that little bit of green color, and it's going to be so much better. Your tires look like they were in the movie. Just Googled it to see, and yep, they look like cookies and crackers. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's what I was going for. With possibly gummy worm thread. Yep, like gummy worm threads. Yep, exactly. Yeah. So, I try. I mean, I try to make it look like that. I have a knack for that, so it's pretty easy for me. If I look it up or if I know it, I can kind of mimic that idea. The colors that'll make it that way, the different things that you can do. It's just fun. Yes. And I will decide early, like probably tonight or tomorrow, which image I want to use, and I'll post it. I'll put it as a I'll put it up in the group as, you know, like at the very top, like as a special announcement or whatever, so anybody who wants to, either people who don't have it can get it, and we can all color together. There we go. So now we have, it's weird because she has one pink wheel and three, but it's okay. We want it to all look a little crazy. So, yeah. Okay. So now what I want to do is I want to put a little bit more of that greenish color that she has on our clothes, like this. So the other night we talked about that. We used YG45, and then we used BG32, and then YG41, so that it wasn't too green, but wasn't blue. We need just a little bit of a blue mix in there to get us the right color. So there's a couple of little things on here that we're going to make this color. So this little candy cane over here, this one, is going to be green at the bottom. And it's okay to have that all green because it's way hidden in that little spot. And then the middle one is going to be a white color. So it's going to be like a stripe. So I'm just going to put some dark in there. And then right here, I'm going to make this sprinkle green. And then her outfit, of course, you guys know that. I think I'll make this sprinkle green too. And then her outfit. So I'm going to go ahead and put those lines in that we drew in already. And we're going to start building in her little outfit here. These are her shoulders, and I want you to be able to see that. So I just added her little shoulders. It'll make sense a little bit more as we go through the image. But I'm putting a coat around the edge just so it stands out a little bit more. And then I think we'll pick this sprinkle up here. And I missed her ears when I was coloring her skin tone, so we're going to have to go back and do that. And then this one is the same as that one over there, so we're going to put some dark green on that. And then this front end of her car right here, not this would be like a license plate kind of thing, but this part of her car I want to be this mint green color. So we're going to go along underneath this icing we have going on here. And then I'm also going to put some of this darkest color down here and along the bottom because it's closest to the ground. You should be able to see it dark color down there. So along that bottom right there, we'll probably just have the two darker colors, and we won't have the highlight color down there because we don't want that to like stand out that way. All right, so next we have our BG32. So I'm not going to add it to these candies or these. I'm just going to add it to her and that bottom part of the car. I'm going to let those other things be a little bit brighter green. I think they'll blend well and they'll look good. So just smoothing out from where I put that top part as we come along down the side of the car, under the star, and then along this bottom is going to be all this color. There we go. Now we're going to come in with our YG41, which is our back to our green color. So we're going to blend out this little swizzle stick or whatever that is. It looks like it's those mufflers that make a lot of noise on a race car. It's kind of what it reminds me of. And then the other side of the sprinkles will get that light color. And then her outfit will blend out with this one. Notice I'm going over that blue because I want it to really stand out. Oh, thank you, Jana. She said watching you color is so relaxing, and I'm glad to hear that because the other night I was watching someone and my husband and I were both like, I think I'm gonna fall asleep. Like, both of us were falling asleep, and I was like, oh, I hope I'm not boring putting everybody to sleep. But her voice was so monotone that it was like, oh my goodness. I was like, I like what she's doing, but I can't stay awake. All right, I'm going to go back in one more time with my YG45 just because there's no black line for her shoulders, and I want that to be just a little bit darker right here. So there we go. That'll build that in there a little bit better. Okay, so those are our green colors for now. So I'm going to put that aside. Now I'm going to do the headlights. But before I do that, I want to go back in and fix her ears because all I put was the shadow color on there. So RV95 first. I'm going to do that just inside her ear and just a little teeny bit along there. And then we're going to use E11 to blend that out a little bit. And then we'll use E01 just because I missed her ears. I have to go back in and fix them. There we go. I tend to do that sometimes when I'm coloring people. I miss their ears. I don't know why, but I do. Okay, now we're going to work on these headlights. So they're going to be like M&Ms without an M&M written on them. And I wanted to make this one, even though this is not really M&M color, this one is going to be a bit tan, and this one's going to be orange. So we're going to go in with E55. We're just going to get a little bit of depth around this swirl of icing that's coming down. It's going to be a shadow for that. And then I want to come along this bottom right here, just to give the underside a little bit more darkness. We only have 3 colors. E53 and E51 are the last 2 coming up, and this is the only part, I think, that I'm going to use these colors on, or I might use, I don't know. But I think these are this is the only place I'm going to use, but if I need another color, I may come in and use this one again. Oh, this is E51. I'm about to wash it all out. Sorry about that. We should be using E53 first. I thought that was too light when I touched the paper. Yeah, I need it to be just a little bit darker, so it blends that out nicely. No harm, no foul. We can fix it. So I'm just going to work that little spot between the dark and the light just to soften that up a little bit. I want it to show a little bit, but not a whole lot. So as you can see, it stays a little bit darker down there at the bottom. Now we can use E51. So I'm just going to go over it and just add that color. And I'm going to wait a second, and then I'm just going to touch that central area one more time. I want to leave that fairly light, so I'm not going to mess with that too much. I want to keep that area light. And I'm going to go back in with my E55, and I'm just going to put a little bit more depth, like right into these really darker areas here. And maybe a little bit along the bottom. Just to keep that like way darker in those little areas. Now, I'll have to smooth this out with E53. And I think that works really nicely over top of that E51. So we'll just leave it just like that. I don't want it to be smooth. I want it to be a little bit of design to it. So now we're going to do the other headlight, and we're going to use YR18 and YR15. So we're only going to use 2 colors, I think. We may have to do tip to tip, but we'll see. So what I want to do with this one, since there's no icing over it, is I just want the bottom of it to be darker. And by the way, this is the perfect marker for me to show you when I can tell that there's a clog in the marker. Because this one is clogged up and my new nibs are on the way. So I want you to be able to see, if you can see what I see. Hold on. So there's a shiny spot and a white spot right here on the tip of this marker. I don't know if you can tell. Right there. And that tells me that it's clogged. This marker needs some love for sure. So I'll be changing that nib. See, if you see shiny spots, it's usually because it's clogged up. You know what? I think I'm going to need YR23 in here. So let's use that first. So I'm going to leave that marker open because I'm only going to use YR23 a teeny bit. But it's just going to be to transition the colors, because I feel like Y15 is going to be too light. It's not going to orange that up for me. And I really wanted that a little bit more orange. I don't think this color is really going to do that for me. So probably going to need some tip to tip on here. So this is my Y15. Yeah, I want a little more orange. So I think I'm going to need YR. Let's try YR15. 16 I think will be too dark. So if we just come over YR15 with one clean sweep, nope, we are going to need 16. 15 is not dark enough, so don't use 15, use 16. We need it to smooth and be orange. That's much better. So now I have to go over the orange area, and I have to soften up that big dark line that I got on there. So I'm going to use YR18 to kind of go over that line and smooth that out. And now that we know we want to use YR16, we'll come in here and soften up those lines in there. And it'll come out right. So as you can tell, my YR18 is a little bit sticky on my paper, and that is because the nib is clogged and it's messing it up. I need Sandy to come do marker maintenance with me. I just cleaned my marker and it was scary. I bet. I do love to see clean markers. They make me super happy. So I'm just going to touch over that real quick with this Y15 because I want there to be a little bit of yellow in there. But I like how that came out. It's really nice. I don't even know if they have orange M&Ms. I guess I could have used red, but I like it orange. And now I'm going to do the steering wheel, but I'm going to do it like it's almost like a peppermint candy, but it's going to be yellow and orange. So it's going to be like a butterscotch or like a sucker kind of candy. I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so I'm going to start over here, and I want one side of it to be darker. I don't want to put too much of this YR18 because it's not behaving very well. So I have that stripe, and then I also want to put one like right here. So that the candy, you know how it'll be twisted, different colors? That's what I'm going for. Now I'm going to soften that with the YR16. Just the edges, just nice and soft. And I'm going to do it on both sides because I got to put a lighter color. I'm going to put those yellows in here. So it's going to need to be softened just a little so we didn't end up with that big line like we had over here. Hey, Meg. Well, you know, you can maybe get me out. I'll be in Arizona in October. I know that's a long way from now, and you need them for craft roulette, but YR23, we would need to be there 3 days early to do them for before craft roulette if they're that dirty. Okay, so I'm using the YR23 as the transition color. So I'm just using a little bit and around the outside. And then we're going to come in with the brighter yellow color. So I'm going to use Y15. And I'm going to soften this transition. And then I'm going to put this really light color in here. And then we're going to work those little bit of transitions again so that we get a smooth candy transition from one color to the other. So see how that is? Excuse me? Oh, girl, I know. Hey. The candy car is looking great. Thanks. Thanks for joining us, Meg. Christina, you know everybody's markers that I have cleaned for them that hasn't done them in a while. I've had to do them for 2 to 3 days. No joke. YR16 one more time because I need just a little bit more orange in here. So I'm just adding a teeny bit more, and then I think we're perfect. All right, look at us getting her done. Okay, so I think for sprinkles, we're going to need some yellows. So let's use YR23 and Y15. So we got YR23, and we're going to use that back here on this one. So YR23 is going to be kind of like the shadow area. So I'm going to put it right there. And I think maybe one more up here. And then I'm going to work on this side, this one right here. I'm just going to put stripes on it. I want it to be yellow, but much lighter. So I'm going to put the stripes with this YR23. Notice my stripes are a little bit skinnier just because I want it to look significantly different than the other one. No, not talking about 2 to 3. I'm talking about I'm going to be in Arizona in October, like I said. Oh, yes, I'm going to be there in October because my son is getting married in Arizona. So I will be there for a little bit because of the wedding. Y15. So I'm going to just add that to the little sprinkles on the top for the light color. There we go. And then for that striped candy right there, I'm going to use that E51 that we used for this. And I'm just going to dab it in there in between those stripes. Just so we have a little bit of color in there. See? It softens it up, but still has those stripes in it. So I like it. And if you want to be able to see the stripes a little better, we can go over them one more time, but we needed a little bit of color in there. So I'm just touching it one time really lightly and barely. So it's a very light color. Now this side, I'm going to do this one a different color. Okay, I will look into doing that for you, Christina. I would love to see you. So I am going to do the other side in maybe a orangey color, I guess. Just orange, no yellow this time. And I'm going to use the white gel pen for the stripes. So we're going to go ahead and put in this YR18. And then we're going to come in with YR16 and finish that out. Soften that little transition spot right there. I don't want to be able to see it go from dark to light. There we go. Your hubby grew up in Arizona? My son was stationed there when he was in the Air Force, and he got out last year. And they moved to Texas, but 6 hours from us, so not close. All right. So now comes the big areas. The icing that's all over the car and her hair. So those are the biggest pieces we have left. Oh, I missed one. We have to do this right here first. And we want that to be in the yellow colors. But I'm going to use that E07 as well, because that's the one that we used for the tires, and I think it was really helpful. So I'm going to use YR23 and Y15 and this E07. So we're going to start with E07, and you'll see why. I want to add, like, I want this to look like a wafer right here. So I'm just going to make these little lines going this way. Very tiny lines. So you have to hold your marker upright. They don't have to be perfect because it's just like a little waffle. And then we're going to come in and do them the opposite way. So we want the stripes to go this way now. And not all the way. We're just getting a little bit of a design in here. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to have a little bit of a design. Because, you know, we can't just leave it plain when we have all this detail of everything else. Now we're going to take our YR23 and we're going to go along the bottom. And notice I'm doing it with brush strokes, just touch and release, because I don't want to blend out those lines I put in there just yet, because I'm going to need that with the next color. If you blend out too much, you got to go back and add them back in, and we don't want to do that. I mean, we can, but we don't want to. Y15 is next, and we are going to put her on a card, but I already have all this stuff ready, so I'll walk you through it, and we'll do it. Okay, so with the Y15, I'm putting it in a much thicker amount in there, just so I can blend that a little bit. You still see the waffle design. Okay. Now, the rest of the sprinkles and the icing right here are going to be the very light colors of the RVs. So we're going to use RV34 and RV32. And then for the icing, we're going to bring in some much darker RV colors. So like RV09, RV63, and RV66. And we're also going to use E07. So we're going to have some crazy combinations coming up again. But let's start off with our little stars first and our the rest of our sprinkles. So we have this sprinkle right here. This is RV34. And then we want this icing right here to have some dark side on the underside of it. And then we have to do our stars. So for our stars, I'm just going to start coloring in a little bit on different sides to get a bit of that shadow look. Over here, I'll do it more towards her face. You can do it any way you want. It's completely up to you on how you want that to look. Darker in one area, lighter in the other. So because those look like they're pretty close to overlapping, I decided to do it that way. And this candy will be shadowing that. And we're only using 2 colors, so we'll have those done in a minute. Catch me up on all the news. I have been so absent due to personal real life issues. Hey, Marianne. Not a whole lot of news. Well, just we just changed our live nights to 8 instead of 9. We're still looking at it, though. We may change it to 8:30 because some of the night owls like it to be a little bit later. But it'll be posted in the group. And I posted that we have a new logo. So you'll be able to recognize Ledoux Designs by the logo. And then tonight we're coloring up some candy. Showing people how to make it look like it has some design in it, even though it didn't when it was drawn. They left it up to us to put the style in there. Yep. So the logo, that's the official logo. I'm excited about that. And then we need to do that little heart in her hair. So I'm going to do that with these colors as well. We have lots of stuff going on. We just haven't made a bunch of announcements yet, but they will be coming soon. So stay tuned. We're in the process. It's a lot of work. I was in Goodyear, Arizona due to John's dad's health. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to be in Arizona in October is what we were talking about. My son's getting married. Oh, this is the lightest color I picked, so I got to finish that heart. All right. Okay, so in the background now, this is going to be all be icing except for her hair. So, and remember, we don't have to do this one because we're going to put an embellishment over top of that piece of candy. So we're not really going to color that. So for the icing, the car icing, I want to use those colors that I mentioned before, but I'm going to go over them again. So I want to use E23. I thought I had already pulled that out, but I guess I didn't. So I want to have E23 because I want there to be a little bit of chocolate mixed in with our icing. And then we're going to use RV09. So we're going to use them in this order right here. RV09. And then a small amount of the RV09. Then we're going to use RV66, RV34. Where is it? Here it is. RV34, and then we're going to use RV32. And I guess we're not going to use 63. Maybe I meant to use 63. We can lighten up these a little bit. Make them a little bit more pink. I probably should have used that color to start. Just to keep it a little more pink. So I'm just adding it over top because it is a lighter color, so it should add a little bit of pink to it. So there we go. And there we go. Thank you. Yeah, we're super excited. Okay, so for the chocolate color, I'm going to start with that one first. And what I want is just a little bit under the like strawberry, cherry, raspberry, whatever color whatever you want to call it, whatever kind of icing you want to call this. It's a little bit more, it's going to be a little bit more pink than cherry. I think cherry is more like red. And then I'm going to put it in here because this is going to be the back of the car. Remember, we drew in the shoulders, so we have to color in the back of the car as well. And then I'm going to do a little bit on this side with this brown chocolatey color. I mean, it's going to be covered up with the pink, So it's just going to give a little more depth. So I want there to be a little bit up here. So I'm just going to mimic this line coming down there into those spaces. So it'll look like it's layered up a little bit thicker because this brown underneath will show through the color as depth. So on this under here, I'm going to add it here. So on the top, I put it at the top, and then here I put it underneath the fold of icing. And I put it in the back around where she's sitting because it will be a lot of shadow there. And I probably should put it along this tire in the bottom right here, because I think we kind of need it there too. But I don't want to put a whole lot in the front. So I'm just going to put a teeny bit down the side. Not this one's overlapping the tire, so we don't need any on that side. We could actually add some underneath our little M&Ms, if you will. You know, we can't call them M&Ms. I could put an M right in the middle of it and make it an M&M, but I don't think it really needs it. I can make it WWs. All right, now we're going to switch over to RV09. This is really dark red color. So I'm just going to put a little bit of it, just barely touching and extending out past where I put that brown color. So not a whole lot of this. And you'll be able to see the brown through it. And this is not a smooth color. This is just getting the color in there. We'll smooth it out with the lighter colors as we go. I just want this really deep color in here. So it can just be random. It does not have to be smoothed out or look amazingly awesome. Just right now, it's just getting this color in here. It'll look amazingly awesome when we get done. We don't have to worry about any of the detail right now. Just going to go along the bottom where I put this brown. Just build in that depth right there. And you'll see how that looks as we get going through it, and it'll make more sense as you see it. I promise. Okay, so now we're going to go to RV66. This is like a raspberry color. So again, you can call it whatever you want. I want to keep most of this back here pretty dark. This RV66 is pretty dark as well. So I'm just extending out a little bit further than where I put that last color. I'm going to leave a little teeny bit to add in the lighter color. Oh, look, we missed this whole side. Dadgummit. I want this to be along the top, and then we're going to extend out just a little bit more. We want to leave a really light line there for our highlighted colors. Along here. I'm going to start building this out just a little bit. So I'm going to do it like this with these little brush strokes. I mean, all the icing is flowing down, so I'm doing my directions down towards the bottom because it's dripping icing. Now, I have to go back in with my darker colors before I can do that side, but I don't want to get too far behind, so I'm going to go back and do that now. It's E07. Did I do E07? No, I used RV09. Sorry. Picked up the wrong marker. Okay, RV09 over top of the brown, same as we did on the other side. Our hair's going to be black, so if I get something in it, I don't really have to worry that much, which is why I generally do those colors last, because if I mess it up, I can just go over it. Just go over it. That's my fix. Just go over it with the other color. So adding a little bit more of this. It's a bit of a deeper color. So it's going to fill it in the way I want it to be. We already did all down here, but I think I'm going to add just a little bit right here. Kind of like that. We'll build on to that in a minute. All right, RV34. Now we're changing the tone. This is more pink than this hot pink. It's more of a soft pink. So we're going to start building that in, but we're going to use that back here on the back part. So now our little stars stand out a little bit more because our color is darker back there. And I may even put some more brown. I may over paint with the brown again to make it darker back here. So it looks like it has a little bit more chocolate. But along the front, I think I'm going to leave it this lighter color. And that's the great thing about Copics. Even after they dry, you can go and add to them. And I love that. I love that I can change what I want to change. Which is why it's always better to do it a little bit lighter. You can always make it darker. It's harder to make it lighter. So I'm going to blend that a little bit more. And then I'm going to start going along the edge here so that it's around the outside, but it also is going to show that the icing's folding over. We're just going to put a little bit there. And then we're going to blend out this icing right here. And again, I'm going to keep that flow going towards the bottom of the car like it's all flowing down. I want it to look like that. So I'm going to keep that direction going. I really want this to be extremely highlighted. So I'm just barely going to touch the edge of this just to soften it up, leaving that one tiny white line for the last marker. And I'm glad you guys are hanging in there. I knew this was going to take a while with all the detail. So that's why I prepped everything else before the live. So hang in there. We're almost done. We just have our hair left. I'm liking it. It's looking awesome. Yay, I'm so glad you like it. Okay, I think before I move on too far, I think I'm going to go back in with this E23 one more time before I do the highlight color. And I'm just going to add some of this over top. I want to keep this behind her a little bit darker. So this is what I call overpainting. I'm just putting it over top of the color just to change the tone of the color I'm using. I do it a lot when I do African American skin, like when I'm coloring a darker tone. I do a lot of overpainting with that. All right, RV. We're going to use RV32, and then if we need something a tad bit lighter, we may use RV63. I want to use RV32 first, and I want to see how that looks on some of this other before I decide if I want to use this one or the next one on my like really light area right there. So I'm going to start blending this out, leaving small space for that RV63 I think I'm going to add. This is much lighter than the previous color, so if we need to tip to tip, we can, but I don't think we're going to need to. I think we can get this color the way that we want it to be. I just think you have to work it a bit. Oh, I have a frog in my throat. It's like I swallowed wrong or something. But you see how some of it is darker and some of it is lighter? It just makes it look like it's layered on top of each other. And I really like that look. When we get her black hair in, it's really going to make the rest of this pop. RV63. So now I'm going to start working this area right here. Now this color is really light, so it's going to do exactly what I want it to do. Soften that transition, but leave that ink light. The only thing you have to remember when you're mixing with these is that there's a lot more colorless blender in this RV63. So you have to be really cautious not to put too much over top of that dark color, or it will fade it out, and that will really be bad. She'll have to go back in and color it again. So now that I have this base coat of this RV63 in there, I'm going to go back in with my 34 on top of it and deepen any of that I need to be a little bit darker. So these areas right here, just going to go over them very lightly with RV34. Just some of them. I will leave some of it. I just want to darken up right here and right here. I'm pretty happy with that. I like it. So we took that plain car that looked like this and we made it look like this. So far so good. White gel pen I hope a lot, and when we get her hair done, it's going to be amazing. So the other night we used a lighter set of black, but tonight we're going to use B23 underneath, and then we're going to use C10, C8, and C7 for her hair. We love the bright colors. Yay! If you look her up, Vanelope Von Schweetz in her Sugar Rush car, it looks a lot like this. Okay, so first we're going to put some of this blue underneath. It is a darker blue than what we used the other night because her hair is going to be a darker black. So again, we're just marking these spots that I want to keep a little bit more highlighted. So I think this time when we do her hair, because it's in a ponytail, what we're going to do is just have like this very light one across. And we're not going to part her hair this way and go that way. We're going to actually do it like this part is pulled back to her ponytail and then out from her ponytail. And you'll know what I mean as soon as we get to it. But that's the reason why I went this way with the highlight. This is kind of too small up here to do anything with the highlighting. So we're just going to leave that just like it is. C10 is our darkest color. You love this? It's so much fun. All these colors, you can make it any color you want. It's so fun. So I'm going to do the underside of her eyebrows just to get a little bit of the black in there. And then this area right here where her bangs are over that front part of her hair, I kind of want it going around her face. And I don't want to end up with one of those big lines like we did the other night. So I'm building that in right now, being very cautious about that. So for this side, I want it to sweep down. So this is the way the brush strokes will go, but they need to go in a curved motion. They need to curve so you can see that the hair is going to curve down. Under here, because all of that is shadowed by candy, we're going to darken that up. And we're going to do the same thing on this side, which I think is going to make that little brown area right there too light. So we're going to have to darken that up when we get done with this, but we won't know how dark until we get done with this part. So this side of the hair is going to go that way, but this one is going to sweep more to the side. So I'm going to do that one in more of like this direction. So I'm just trying to follow the way that the hair is. Again, I am going to put a piece of candy in her hair. So for now, I'm just going to put shadow under it. But we are not going to color in that piece of candy. And then a little bit along the bottom of her heart as well. And then this area right back here is going to be pretty dark because it's in the shadow. And then along this line, this is where it divides her bangs from the back of her hair. So I want that to be fairly dark as well. So I'm just going to make a line there, and then we'll come in and we'll do the little bitty brush strokes in a minute. So this part right here that scrunches her hair into a little knot in the back, that needs to have some really dark color in it as well. You love her hair. It's going to get better and better. We're going to do it with these tiny, 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 tiny little brush strokes, and they're all very far away from each other because we'll build in with the other color. So we're going to do the same thing coming from this way. Don't worry, it's going to look funny at first, but I promise it'll get where it needs to be. There we go. So we're starting to get that in there. I think I'm going to come up just a little bit more on that one. And I feel like she has a bit of a fold in her hair right here, so I'm going to build a little bit from there, like that, just to give a little bit of dark on that side. All right, so now we're going to switch to the next color, which is C8. So this one's still going to be pretty dark. Trust the process. That's right. This one's still going to be pretty dark. I'm going to move that down so you guys can see. And I'm okay with that because I really want this hair to be dark. I mean, she has black hair, so I'm going to do my strokes down because this is hair that's going up and down. It's just straight right there. So I'm going to do the same thing on this side, leaving just a little bit open for that last color. In between, I'm going to add more lines. In between where I added them before, I'm going to go up from this area. So now we're just leaving a tiny area for her, the rest of her hair. This looks much darker in person. Okay, so going down this way to meet where these lines are from her bangs. So it's kind of like it goes right through that heart. We just don't want to color the heart that color. So I'm going to leave a little bit more open on the front of her hair because I want it to look like it's a little bit lighter in the front. I'm going to deepen that up in the back, just on the sides where it's really, really small. Now I'm going to do brush strokes in between where I did those other ones. And you don't have to be real specific. Just try to get close to in between. It's okay if you don't get it perfect. And then we're going to do the same thing going from this direction. It's going to start filling it in. It won't leave a whole lot for highlight, but then again, there's not a lot back there for highlight anyway. We want to keep this pretty dark along where her front of her hair meets the back of her hair. We could just go ahead and do more on her eyebrows as well. I didn't put any of the blue in her eyebrows, and that's just because I'm okay with her eyebrows being a little darker than the rest of her hair. Call it because I color my hair, so I know my eyebrows don't match my hair. I mean, how can they? I can't have purple eyebrows. I'd really look crazy. Okay, so back and forth to get that color in there. Just one sweep right over top of it. Don't continue to blend because if you do, you're going to lose those strands of hair. And you don't want to do that. Now, because this is still fairly light, I'll probably add back in a bit of the strands as I go. But when you do this, if you go this way, you're going to lose all that depth that you did. So what we're going to do is just touch in the couple areas where there's still white. And just fill that white in. We are not blending that out. So now you can still see all those strands in there. Now, because we're going to go back in and put a little bit more depth in here, it's great because I forgot this part of the hair back there. Oh, yeah. So, going along, not yet. Most of this is just going to be the darkest color because it's hidden back there. But I am going to come back in and put a few more of these dark colors in her hair because I want that hair to remain really dark. So just going to add a little bit more back in there. A little bit from here, a little bit here. Just adding those strands back in. And sometimes this happens when you do black hair, you just kind of lose a little bit of that. Don't forget her bun. Thank you, Jana. Sometimes I come back in with the 100 marker and just make these extra lines in here because I feel like it makes such a big impact that I want it to be in there. But tonight I decided to just stick with these colors that we have instead of adding the 100. But 100 will do the same thing and it'll be so pretty. Okay, so C8 is our next color. And I'm just going to finish off her bun with C8. Not even going to use the highlight color. And then I'm going to do a few of these brush strokes like back and forth. Sometimes I'm not even touching the paper. I'm just building in those strands of hair a little bit more. It looks like I'm doing a lot, but I promise I'm not. Sometimes I'm not even touching the paper. I want my brush stroke to be that light, so I'm not even touching the paper. And I'm going to add a few more between these. But I didn't do it with the darkest color because I didn't really want it standing out too awful much. There we go. And now I'm going to jump to, so C7 is what we used the last time, but now I'm going to jump to C6 for that last little sweep to soften this a little bit. And I jumped to a much lighter color because I don't want to blend this together. I just want to add a bit of this light color in there. And I want to do it to her. I want to soften her eyebrows because she looks like she needs an eyebrow job done. So, now what we're going to do is we're going to grab that RV66 and we're going to just deepen this area right there. I felt like it just needed a little bit more in there. And then it looks like I missed a teeny tiny little spot behind her ear right here. So I'm just going to fill that in with this dark color. There we go. All right. Now we have to use our multi-liner. I'll hold it up so you can see it. We're going to put the white gel pen on it and do her eyes right now, but super cute. I love it. And her hair came out perfect tonight. We didn't even have to change that up. So sometimes I do an extra coat on the hair and sometimes I don't. It just depends on what colors you're using. But when you're using the black, it tends to just kind of soften up. Undo her eyelashes again, because I really want you to be able to see them. So I just fixed them up a little bit. But when I do black, I tend to do 2 coats. But with other colors, you don't really have to because it's just, they're obvious enough in the tone that they are that you don't have to. So for this little area over here, I'm going to just want that to be really white. So I'm using the white gel pen for that. Same thing on this side. And then remember I said I wanted stripes on this, but I wanted them white. So we're using the white gel pen to put those little stripes on that side. I think it's a little bit easier that way. And then I'm going to add a little bit of white gel pen along this back, and I don't want it to be smooth. I want it to kind of be like sort of splotchy so it looks more realistic. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Just kind of a little bit on there. And I want to put a little bit right here on the front of this headlight. And same thing on this side where our light area is. Like that. And then I think we need to put a little bit on some of our stars. So I'm just going to do like a little, kind of like just a little dot. Just add a little bit of highlight to our little stars so they stand out just a little bit more. And it doesn't even have to be anything like fancy, just a little bit. And then I'm going to do her eyes, because we definitely want her to have some cutie patootie eyes. And I'm going to do her steering wheel like this. Like she's really jamming out on that little steering wheel. She's got it going on. It's just amazing. Thank you. I'm glad you guys like it. I really, really am. I was hoping you would enjoy this video because it had so many characteristics that we had to do. Now I'm going to grab my little candies again so we can put a candy in her hair. And while that dries, I'll show you all the pieces for the card and you'll be able to see how that looks. So let me grab my little tray. Where's my little tray? There it is. There's my little tray so I don't lose all my little blings everywhere. Last night I had to pick them up off my desk and that was not fun. So I think maybe either yellow or green. I think the green one. We're going to put it in her hair right there. So she's going to have candy in her hair, but it's going to be real candy. It's not going to be like, I think we're going to need a few sprinkles too, just like we did the other night. So I don't want to use, I think for sprinkles, well, I don't want to use blue or purple. I want to use like pink because I want to try to stay in the same colors. So we're just going to put a little bit in her hair. That's so cute. I may cut that piece down a little bit. What is this? We didn't see those last night. I don't even know what those are. I don't think we need too many more of here. I don't know if I want to put that in there or not. Maybe if I put it right beside like the other one, then maybe it looks good. Or maybe not. Maybe I'll just put this one on there. Let's just put this one on there. All right. Let me see if my Barely Art glue is going to behave tonight. It usually does, but you never know. Oh, I just saw where I missed white gel pen. We're going to add to that in just a minute. So I'm going to put this on here. Oh, that's gorgeous, honey. They're going to love it. All right. I also wanted to put a little bit of white gel pen along these, like this one, just along the side, just because, you know, just because, why not, right? There we go. Just wanted a little bit more on those. She's adorable. You love her. I love her. She's so cute. Okay, so her little candy has to dry. So this is her up close, if you want to see, with all her little white gel pens. Look at how awesome that looks. I love it. I'm going to zoom out and then I'm going to explain real quick what we are doing with our card. It won't take us that long, but we do have to put together some stuff. So earlier when the video started, this was the girl. So as you can see, she really comes to life when you color her up. It's pretty cool. I really like coloring him too. So I'm sure you'll see him in the future if he's not a speed coloring video. So I wanted to use this because I felt like it went with our dripping like icing. And I went with these colors because I knew they were going to match the tones of what I chose. So I went ahead and cut out this die cut right here, once in a solid color. So this is the inside. See? It's the inside. You could make it a paintbrush if you wanted, but there's a lot of stuff you can do with this die, and I really like it. And this is the outside piece. So I wanted the inside to be a little different color than the outside. So we have these two pieces. And I wanted to put it on this yellow background, so kind of sticking with still all the same colors that are in the card. And then I decided, it's just a little bit too much. I need some other color under there. So I decided to add a white underneath here because I feel like that will really make these colors stand out even more. So that is what we're going to do. And I'm going to start with this layer right here. And we're going to put this one down first. We're just going to set it there. And see, I want my drips to stay on there. So this one will meet up here, and that will allow for my drip to stay on my sheet right here. So this is where I want it to be. I'm going to use these cool little magnets I have to just hold it there. I think it's easier that way. And then I'm going to put some glue on the back of this so I can start gluing it down. And then we're just going to place that other piece inside of this. Now, most of the time it fits perfectly, but depending on the stretchiness of your paper or how you cut it or how you lay it down when you glue it, sometimes it doesn't match up exactly, and I am okay with that. I don't have any problem with that at all. So I'm going to lay this down. So give me an opportunity to get this placed exactly where I want it, and then I'll lift this up so it'll go down like that. I don't want to put this piece in yet because we're going to stamp on this in a minute, but see how it fits right down in there. So I think we'll be good with that. I'm going to glue this side. This is how I get it on there exactly in the spot that I want. I'm sure there are easier ways to do this. It's just, this is the best way I could think of to do it. So this is what we get tonight. If I come up with an ingenious way for later, I will show you that as well. So the Barely Art glue comes out in really tiny little streams, so it's easy to put it on here. It dries clear if it oozes over, so I'm not worried about that. That die cut is very cool. I need to get one of them. It is very cool. I mean, I saw this at the Jennifer, when I went to the Jennifer Dove boot camp card class thing last year. We used this die, and I just had to have it. And I've used it on a couple of different projects because you can just make it look so different depending on how you cut it out, what colors you use, and how you layer it up. And it's just a lot of fun. At the boot camp, we colored it. We cut it out in white paper and we colored it. So that was pretty cool as well. So I'm just pressing it down to make sure I got a really good hold there. Now I saved the little pieces, these little pieces. I hope I can find them all, because now that I've picked it up and moved it around, I might lose some. But if I do, it's okay. They'll show up and I'll stick them in when they show up. But for now, let's go ahead and put these ones that I have in there. Maybe we'll just leave the other ones out. I don't know. You never know. So it goes in here. This one goes in there. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue in here. And you could even pop these up and then you get another different look. So there's a lot of different ways to change this die up. Is it very expensive for me to buy? Probably not. I mean, I don't know how the tariff situation is right now for you guys, but I don't think that die was very expensive. Teresa, do you remember? Was it like $15.99 or $19.99? You bought the die right after the boot camp. Yep, I did. I bought it at the boot camp. I bought a lot at the boot camp. Not gonna lie. I bought a lot of stuff. I was having fun, and I really like whimsy, so it was easy to spend a lot of money there. So I'm just going to put this in some of them. If we happen to find them all, then I'll put them all in there. But I think I'm missing that one right now. I know they're all here. They were here before I started the video, so they have to be here somewhere. But if I'm missing a couple in one space, I think we're okay. So this one will go here. So I'm going to stick that one there. And then I think I have one more I can find that's just right here handy. The other ones might have ended up on my lap when I picked up this stuff, but there we go. We'll put that one in there. And you can put it on here or you can put it on the paper. It doesn't really matter as you get it in there. I'm going to press them in there with my little press pop thingy here. I'm missing one, too. They're here somewhere, though. I know they are. I'm going to give it a quick look. And if I find it, great. And if I don't, that's okay, too. Let's move my... Because there's the bling I was going to use. Yep, they must be on my lap. That's okay. I'm okay with that. I'm going to move this over so we can finish it up. So for this, right here, $16.99. Thank you. See, it's not too bad. $16.99 is not bad. Okay, so I put the little drip over a little too far when I glued it down, but everything else is perfect. We'll see if we can lift it, but if we can't, then we'll just leave it there. It'll be fine. Yeah, I'll just leave it there. It's just going to be a little off there, and that's okay. We'll just put the sentiment there. So the reason I didn't put this piece down first, which most of the time would be easier to do, is because I want to stamp something on this. It's going to be super quick, and I'm going to hand stamp it. But we have this little lollipop. And I want to put it in the background, but I want it to be extremely subtle. So I decided to use cracked pistachio ink. And I just want to give her a little bit of a scene in the background since she's racing and there's a lot of candy when they're racing all over the place. But I want this to be really light and subtle. So I'm trying to use a color that's almost the same. So it's there, but not dark. Hi, Dee Dee Ann. Wait till you see what we did tonight. And then I'm going to go up and down just to kind of build like a fence, a little bit of a fence of lollipops. Like she just drove through this whole fence of lollipops. And I hope I don't mess this up because I didn't do a second one. Ta-da! So far, so good. Kind of doing it up and down, and I don't really care if it's like perfect or anything. That's not the point. Matching up the top of the lollipop, but you won't be able to see the bottom on this last stamp right here. I better put this on here, or sure enough, I'll move it. Oh, you will be able to see a little bit of the base on there. There we go. You just got home. You didn't miss it, though. But this one took a while. We did a lot of coloring, so the image is super cool. So we're letting it dry. I'm going to show it to you in just a minute because we're going to put it on this card. But I didn't want to color these. I just wanted a little bit of a design in there. So that's why I put that on there, just so it'll be in the background, and you'll see what I'm talking about here in just a couple of minutes. So let's go ahead and glue this one down, and maybe we'll put some more of those peppermints around. I don't know. I have some other bling I had already planned on using, so we'll see. All right, here we go. So you don't necessarily need like anything elaborate in the background, because the coloring and the girl and all that is gonna be enough for the card. And this is gonna be just a little bit off, like I said, but that's where we'll put the sentiment, so we are fine. But I just wanted a little bit of detail in there, and you'll see how much of a big difference it makes. But you don't even have to pay, you don't even have to do that much to it. It's super simple. While we're letting that dry a little bit, I'm going to put the inside card for this card base, and this is going to be a birthday card. So I mentioned earlier that I pulled out my waffle flower sentiment set and the dies to match. And I'll show you that again in just a moment. Just want to get this in here like straight. Perfect. Okay, that's the inside of our card. And then I'm going to burnish my edge here with my little Trinity Stamps bone folder. And then this will go on top. So it shows a lot of everything, which I like. You got the candy and you got, oh, look, there's one of them things. I told you they were going to show up. They were just going to pop up when I wasn't expecting it. One more. It'll show up. No worries. Or I might just cover it up with the sentiment. So these are the sentiments. So they're just basic standard sentiments, so they're perfect. I decided with happy birthday, and then it has dies to match. So I stamped it in black on the green paper. So this will fit. Look at that. I'll cover it right up. It'll be perfect. Right there. I'll probably pop that up so you can see it. This is, here's our girl we colored tonight. It's like she was racing. We can put her, I think I want her over here. She's racing. And then we're going to add some bling, of course. But see how much those lollipops make a big difference. Even though it's not a big thing, it's still just enough. So let me grab my sticky pops, so I can pop up that sentiment. So I'm just going to see how long it is and make sure I cut my stuff the right size. I don't know what that was. I'm sorry. Sometimes my hubby sits across from me, so over there. And sometimes he places stuff right by my little roll around, like my carrier that holds all my stuff that I rotate. And then when I rotate it, it knocks his stuff off the table. That image is way too cute. Yeah, vroom, vroom. Exactly. I love this image. I love this whole set. It's super fun. So I cut it a little short, so we're going to just cut this little teeny piece off here, add it to the end, and we should be good on that sentiment. I think we're going to pop her up too, but let's go ahead and glue this down now that it's kind of dry. All right, here we go. So I also rounded the edges of the white paper just because I felt like it was a little bit too much when I just laid it onto the card with the white behind it, and I felt like it needed to be just cut down just a little bit, so I rounded the edges, which I really like. Really happy with how that turned out. So just using this little soda pop press to get that to stick really good. We have our happy birthday that's going to be popped up. I'm going to go ahead and just put that on there right now. And then I'm going to give you guys a sneak peek of something that we're going to have in the shop. And I'm going to use it now. So you'll know where you'll be ready and looking for it when we open the shop. So there is the happy birthday. And then I'm going to flip her over and put some of this on there. So I'm just going to cut myself a few strips of this real quick. Should be pretty easy. The image is not too odd shaped. So it's pretty good. You guys, Dale is so creative. He has been working on so much stuff at the shop. I just love it. It is so helpful to me. Don't know what I would do without him. All right, so I want a little piece here. So the way I test this when I put it is I flip it over, and if when I press down a spot caves in, then I know I need more of this on here. I don't really need any on that one, but I had that extra piece, so I just stuck it there. Oh, it would be fun if she was on a wobbler. You're right. If I hadn't already put these on there, I could have done that. I don't know why wobbles don't pop into my head that often. It's the same with the lights. I have the lights too from Pear Blossom Press. I just don't think about them as much as I wish I did. So I'm going to move her over just a little bit so that it looks like this is dripping like from her card to the ground. So there she is in all her beautifulness. And then, where's those other ones? I want to show those other ones real bad. Okay, so, yeah, I'm not just saying it, though. He's pretty amazing. So here's my, here's the extra ones that he had left over that he did not put in the sets. But I know that we usually get these, usually people buy these from China. But we didn't want to do that, so if I can get this bag open now, go figure, right?
With the nails.
Yeah, they're giving me a... Oh, there we go. So I tasked Dale to make us dots, like enamel dots, that these are made at our house. These are handmade.
This is the lemon drop.
This is going to be the lemon drop. So they are yellow with glitter in them. Can you see the glitter in them? So Dale hand makes these, and then you'll just be able to put glue and then stick them down. But tonight he came up with a different color, and I was like, oh my gosh. I don't know that it'll match with our card, but I may have to use it. You guys want to see it? Oh my gosh, look at this. It's like, yeah, this is great. I'm going to have to open this. You're going to have to make another one. This will have to be mine.
Nope.
Because I want to put it on the card. Look at, I can't get it open. I'm so excited and I can't get it open. Okay. So these, I mean, I'm telling you, I can't believe he can figure out how to do all this stuff. Seriously. Like he just finished making these and then brought them over and showed them to me. Look at that.
Because of cosplay. It's
glittery, but it's like a pale blue, almost like a clear see-through. Almost like they could be like raindrops. I mean, look at how awesome that is. Or I could use the yellow ones, the lemon drops. I like the blue better. Yeah, sorry, I'm using them. I like the blue better with this one, so we're going to use them tonight. So we're going to just put them on, place them where I want them to be. There's going to be 3 different sizes. Large, medium, small. And the small ones, there won't be as many as you get in other sets that other people make. I got to choose how many of each one I wanted to do.
And the camera doesn't really do it justice.
No, it doesn't.
In the light, these things really sparkle.
Yeah, they do. They really sparkle. They're super awesome. Let's see, where do I want this to be? I want a medium one to go down here. And a tiny one. There's tiny ones, medium ones, and tiny ones. I like them so much. I'm going to put 9 of them on here. There will be a lot in your little package when you purchase them. All right, let's put.
Even though the package looks small, there's about 90 pieces.
Yeah, there'll be a lot. Okay, let's cover this up. Let's cover this little boo-boo up right here. Well, that might draw attention to it. No, this one goes up here. You know, I could just use my picker tool, but, you know, I wasn't that smart tonight. Okay, I need a smaller one again.
You should put it in your bling holders.
I already have stuff in my bling holder. I can't add it to my bling holder because I already have the candy in there. Okay, so I'm going to add this one over here. I'm going to put them on there like that. So all I have to do is put a little bit of glue on here. When it dries, the Barely Art glue dries clear, so it'll go right. You won't be able to see it underneath there at all. So squish all the glue out. Squish all the glue out. When the glue dries, shiny and pretty again. I'm going to press it with this little press pot because that'll make it easier. I'll scoot these over. I'll put my little dots. Probably would have been faster if I had just put my dots on there to begin with, but you know, I can't do anything easy. I got to make it all complicated and stuff. Slippery little suckers. There we go. It would be easier to pick up if I had them in my tray, wouldn't it? Dadgummit. Oh, there it goes, starting to stick now. That Barely Art glue, man. It gets that pull on there. Where did I put them? Oh, there they are. So this one is going to go here. All right, let me do it like this. Squish it. And this one is going to go here. Squish it. We're going to go here. Squish it. I did that one already. Okay, so we have 2 more, and then we'll be done. And then this card will be ready to go. What do you guys think? Did you like this? Who's going to try and do their... Oh, who's going to try and do this girl? Does anybody own her? She's so much fun. I have an affiliate link if you decide you want to get her. You can certainly use it, but you don't have to. Those are fantastic. Yay! I'm glad you like them. You know, we felt like something was going to happen. Like they're going to be harder to get. And so if Dale could figure out how to make them, like you can see the sparkle in them, like the glitter. They are very shiny. The light just isn't doing the justice as much as I would like. Probably because I turned all the light down.
Is there
So can you see it sparkle?
dot of glue?
Where?
Second one from the right by the stem of the candy cane.
Oh, right here? No, it's just a fuzzy on the card. There. So that's our girl. She's so cute. Those are our little blings. Aren't they going to be so much fun? And then we'll open the card. We stamp the back. This set, again, I'll tell you, this set is called Get Wrecked. And the die is called Drippy Frame Die. It's from Whimsy. And the sentiment is waffle flower. Waffle Flower Elegant Sentiments, and you can get the stamps and the dies. And this one is the one that had her in it, and it's called Get Wrecked. I picked the sizes, Meg. I did. I know what you mean. They're exactly the way I like. So there you go. That's how you go from this simple, not a lot of detail, to a lot of detail just by using your colors. Oh, I swallowed the wrong way, you guys. So I hope that you guys liked that, and I hope that you enjoyed it. And this sneak peek wasn't really a plan I had done tonight, but I thought you guys would have fun with that. And the blue, it's just, mwah, love it. So I'm really excited about that. We have lots of stuff coming. It's going to be super fun. I'm going to post in the group either tonight or tomorrow what we're going to do on Tuesday with curly hair. I have to find the image, and then we'll go from there. So I will definitely let you guys know ahead of time what we're going to use, so that you can color along with me on Tuesday if you would like. And Tuesday's live will be at 8 o'clock. So make sure that you, if you're on YouTube or TikTok or Instagram, that you subscribe and click the link so that you can see all of the speed coloring videos, because I don't always post them in the group. You just see them on those social medias. So if you want to see any other stuff, make sure you're connected there. Yeah, everything pops. It does. And the colors, that paper is Pink and Main, and I use this paper a lot. It's called Colorful Ink Spots, but you can tell there's like pastel, or there's bright, vibrant colors. Any with like the purple, I already used all those. No shocker there, I'm sure. But that's Pink and Main, and it's called Colorful Ink Spots. And I'll put all those details on the YouTube video in the description, along with the Copic marker colors and all that good stuff. So if you need to refer back, the video will be in the group for 30 days, but then Facebook deletes it. So you can always find it on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining me and hanging out tonight. I really, really, really appreciate it. And I will see you guys on, oh my gosh, Pink and Main is only an hour away from you. I might have to come see you. Okay, you guys have a great evening. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you on Tuesday. Love you guys. Good night.